Hi guys, I hope you guys are awesome, and I hope you're keeping safe and looking after yourself. Today I am doing a video, an informative video on everything that I've posted previously, and then also questions that I got from a lot of people asking certain things and to provide clarity on certain things, which I think is really important for those going through something similar, or those who have family members going through, something similar like cancer. Yeah, so basically there's 2 points to this video. Number one is just to give more information and shed more insight, and then number two is just a quick update. The videos will continue because, like I said, this is before I got the cancer and all of that stuff. This is a platform I really want to grow and build, and I'm really excited for it. I have big plans for it in the future, not just to talk about cancer, because I have some things up in here too, but yeah, so I'm gonna get straight into the point because there were a few questions that were asked, and also, I'm learning how to do these things. A lot of people said please put trigger warnings on your videos, and I didn't know that because obviously I'm new. But anyway, there's nothing to trigger you. I'm not going to put any of the videos in this video, but yeah, so I'm going to be reading from the notes that I made for this video, because obviously I have chemo brain, so I cannot remember everything. And yeah, I'm just answering a few of the questions that were asked, not all of them. If you do have questions and you want follow-ups on this, just let me know and I'll try and make a new video. Okay, so the first question is, what is Hodgkins lymphoma? A lot of people don't even know what that is. I did not know what it was, not because I didn't only find out when I got cancer. I found out when my aunt was diagnosed with Hodgkins lymphoma. So I'm not going to go into that story a lot now. It is something I want to tell you guys about because it also impacted my journey, but that's not what I'm going to go into right now. But I basically kind of knew the term lymphoma when she got sick, which was last year. So Hodgkin's lymphoma is a type of lymphoma in which cancer originates from a specific type of white blood cells. So the symptoms include fever, night sweats, weight loss, and then non-painful enlarged lymph nodes. So the symptoms that I got were fever, weakness, the enlarged lymph node on the left side of my neck, and it wasn't painful at all. Weight loss, I had a lot of that, and I didn't understand why. Yeah, so symptoms can differ. Not everyone experiences the same types of symptoms. Some people don't even have the enlarged lymph node, so that's obviously, it's all dependent on how you feel, and that's why I encourage people to always go for a checkup. I was not that type of person, and I never really ever went for any checkups besides when I needed medication for the flu, or if I needed, just to check something out. But I was always scared of going to the doctor and checking stuff out for the simple reason. Yeah, so the symptoms differ and they vary person to person. So I would just say that please go and get your yearly checkups. It's very important. Even though you might not think it's important because yes, there's a fear of if there is something, but at least you'll catch it early enough, to treat it. And luckily that was my case. Not early enough, but as early as could be. And then yeah, if you don't go, or if you do go, it's completely up to you, but I really feel like people should take that into consideration. Anyway, just check your symptoms: weakness, fever, weight loss. Don't Google everything. That's what I did. I Googled a lot every time I felt sick and stuff like that. And Google is your worst enemy when it comes to stuff, because you'll be searching, why is my eye twitching? and then all of a sudden you have 3 million different types of cancers. So don't Google. Anyway, who does it affect? That's one of the questions as well. It's most common between the age of 20 to 40. So a lot of people within that age range get it. So yeah, it's not subject to only those age ranges. I'm sure that it can be, but mostly ages 20 to 40. So yeah, how do you get diagnosed and what tests do they do? So this process for me is obviously different to a lot of other people's process. So it might not be the exact same testing, but the main sorts or forms of tests that they do is a lymph node biopsy. So that's obviously where they cut into the skin there and they remove a piece of the lymph node to send for testing. But there's that part of it, so they remove, or they can just like inject with a needle and kind of get like a piece of it, but that's like not a advanced surgery type of thing. Anyway, so they do that and then they send it to the lab for testing. And then there is chest x-ray. Obviously you know what an x-ray is, so it's basically just to see if there is lymphoma if there's enlarged lymph nodes in the chest, right? And then an ultrasound. So I had an ultrasound done of my neck. So they basically just look into your neck and see, how it looks and stuff like that. I'll show you guys a few of the pictures of the actual scans and x-rays so you can see for yourself. You might not know what to be looking for, neither do I, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, so other than the ultrasound, they also do a bone marrow biopsy, and they do this biopsy to determine whether it's in the bone marrow, right? So if it's in the bone marrow, it's obviously a lot more serious. I didn't do a lot of research on that because that's not my case. I will do research on that at a later stage, but yeah, for mine the bone marrow was clear, so it basically just affected the neck and chest, right? So that's stage 2. So basically stage 1 is where it's affected one area or place, and stage 2 is where it affects like 2 or more stages of, places or areas. Yeah. Remember that I'm not giving like all the information. I'm just giving everything that I know from my experience and the little bit of research that I have done. Okay, so the type of treatment that you get. So you get chemo, radiation therapy, stem cell transplant, and it all differs according to your stage, according to the severity, and so on and so forth. So for me, it's just chemo. I just have to do chemo, which I'm very blessed and grateful for. I am doing chemo for 6 months in total. I've done 4 sessions thus far. So I have 8 sessions left. I end chemo on the 28th of December this year. Then after that, I need to do a CT scan and a PET scan to determine whether everything is clear, so on and so forth. Everything is looking great as it currently stands. My doctor said the prognosis is excellent, and also at my second chemo session, he said that he can see that I'm going to go into a full remission. So he's very positive. We're all very positive. Right, so the symptoms of chemo. I'm going to list them. I'm going to list the symptoms. But basically what I've experienced has been different from round 1 to round 4. And a lot of people say that it might get worse as it goes along and the symptoms might differ. So there's a certain batch of symptoms and they might differ according to each session. It's the same medication given at each session. So whatever you got in your first session, you'll continue to get until the end of chemo, right? They don't change up the medication. It's the exact same regimen the entire time. But yeah, the symptoms can differ. So when I started the first time I did chemo, I was in hospital. So I'm being treated as a day patient and outpatient. So basically I go to the hospital, but I go to a chemo clinic in the hospital, so I don't stay overnight. But my first chemo session, when I was in the hospital, I went into the hospital the day before that to put in the port. So the port is where they give you the chemotherapy. I'm not going to show any videos of that because I did show it in my last video. You can always go back to that one if you want to see. But they administer the chemo through the port, and it's like a drip. So everything like the IV drip type of thing, that is what's going into you, but through here instead of like, you know, in a vein. That's it. Just it's safer and easier, healthier for your veins and so on and so forth. Yeah. So when I went for my first one, I was in a lot of pain because of the port. So the surgery to put the port in, that's where the pain was coming from. And then I did chemotherapy the first round, the morning after the port was inserted. So the first one, they didn't put the injection in from scratch. I mean, that morning they put the injection in when they did the surgery, the needle. So when they did the surgery, they put the needle in, and yeah, so it was in until the following morning, and then they gave me the chemo the following morning, and I was so emotionally drained, and mentally, physically, I was tired. I was just out of it. So I can't really tell you what my symptoms were at that time. I just know that I had a lot of pain from the actual port. Then 2 weeks later, I had my second session. So my sessions are every second Tuesday until the end of the year. It's 2 weeks apart to give your body time to recover, and every second session you get something called a booster injection, which I also explained in my previous video, and that booster injection can cause pain as well. So the type of pain that's caused by the booster injection is bone pain. It can cause muscle pain and stuff like that. So yeah, the second session of chemo, the normal symptoms that they tell you that you get from chemo are nausea and vomiting, weakness, fatigue. There's quite a few symptoms, but the most common ones are those, and the ones that I've experienced so far, and then obviously muscle and joint pain, sensitivity, stuff like that, because obviously chemo is killing the good and the bad cells. So yeah. So my second session, I didn't have any nausea or vomiting, thank goodness. And I had a lot of fatigue. I was very weak, and I was tired, and I had a lot of muscle and joint pain. A lot. Like, it was not nice. And then third chemo session, also the muscle and joint pain and so on and so forth. And then I had the booster injection, and the bone pain from the booster injection. So obviously the booster injection is given Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So on the fourth day after chemo, it needs to be given at the same time that your chemo ended. So if your chemo ended on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, then you need to take the booster injection at 2 o'clock on the Saturday. So yeah, that causes bone pain. And then I had the bone pain on my third session, and also muscle and joint pain, as well as nausea. I had nausea. It was my first session where I had nausea, and then yeah, that was about it for the third one. For the fourth one, which was my last one, I had nausea and very little muscle and joint pain, and I didn't take the booster injection, so no bone pain. And alright, so for the first session I had nausea and no vomiting, some muscle and joint pain, and then I had loss of appetite. Just a little bit though. I still had an appetite, just not as much as the previous 3, because I was eating like a mad thing the previous 3. But my appetite is slowly coming back, and I can feel I'm eating a lot more, which is good. So yeah, those are most of the symptoms of chemo. There are other symptoms that come with it that I haven't experienced. So obviously in the next update I will let you know if that's changed. The booster injection, as I said, every second chemo, and that's basically to boost your counts. So basically you take the injection every second chemo and it boosts your blood cell counts. And then I got a question asking how I'm dealing with this, like in work and normal life, like how am I living, how has it affected everything. And it has affected a lot, obviously. I mean, I don't think that it's possible for you to go through something like this and not be affected, and not have every aspect of your life affected. It affects your relationships, it affects your work, it affects family, it affects everything. But yeah, so the way I've been dealing with it is I am a very driven person in terms of my work, and I love my job. So it keeps me going. I take off the day of chemo. I was offered the day of chemo and the day after. I have a very understanding boss and manager. So it's been amazing. God has truly been really good to me throughout this whole experience. And yeah, so I take the day of chemo off, because I'm usually very tired on that day, or nauseous, and the day after I start working, so I might be slow because obviously I'm weak and I'm tired, but I push myself to try and get through it. And yeah, it's been going well. There have been a few slip-ups. There have been some people that kind of just, don't get it. Because work is work, guys. At the end of the day, companies need to make money. So yeah. But yeah, other than that, my normal life has also been affected a lot. Besides everything that I've mentioned in the previous videos, I don't really socialize in terms of going out. I don't go out anywhere. I don't go and do anything, which I'm gonna change very soon. I want to start doing some stuff, like normal stuff. I want to be able to go for coffee. Obviously not crowded places. I'm not going clubbing and stuff right now. Next year though, you'll see me there. But for now, yeah, just like lunch dates, coffee, stuff like that. In terms of how it's affected everything else, like I said, it affects everything. It affects your family, it affects your close friends, it affects relationships. So it's literally just kind of something that you take day by day and in your stride. Don't push yourself too much, but also don't not push yourself at all, because that's not good either. There were a lot of questions about the hair loss, and a lot of people think that was the hardest part for me. That's not the hardest part, guys. It's a very hard part, but it's not the hardest part. It's the most permanent part, I will say. It's the most abnormal part, but it's not the hardest part. So when I first cut it off, I cut I don't know, I think they call it a number 4, and it wasn't all off, and I kind of enjoyed it, it was cool. And then it started falling out like crazy, even though it was that short. And then I cut it. As it is now all off, it is growing a little bit, but obviously it grows, and then I go for chemo and it falls out and like that. But I can't notice it now because it's so short. But yeah, when I cut it all off, that was difficult, because society, guys. Gotta figure that shit out, let me just tell you. But yeah, other than that, I'm embracing it, and I've been blessed with a nice head at least, you know, so I don't really need to worry that much. No, but that's not the most important part. The hair will grow back, you know. Yeah, it was a weird experience, and it was tough, but not the most difficult part. So yeah, I actually cut my hair long before it started falling out because I was delaying the inevitable by not cutting it. So I just decided, you know what, let me do it anyway. Less to worry about at a later stage. So that's why I did it. Right. So my takeaway from this informative video, for anyone who's going through this or something similar to this, remember that lymphoma is not just Hodgkins lymphoma. There is Hodgkins lymphoma, there is non-Hodgkins lymphoma, Burkitt's lymphoma. There's, you know, a few. And if you are going through cancer and chemo and radiation and all of that other stuff, I can't speak for everyone, you know, that has been through cancer, because our journeys are not all the same. Even though, you know, we kind of experience a lot of the same things, our journey still remains that it's not completely the same. There's a lot of people that are out there that's far worse off than me, and I pray for those people, and I respect and admire them so much. But yeah, I don't know their journey. I'm only sharing based on my experience, and yeah, you can take out of this whatever may help you. If nothing helps you at all, that's cool. But yeah, take out of it what you think might help you. And I think that based on what I've learned, it's been easier for me to speak about this for the simple fact that so many people were not aware. Nobody knew really what it was, and to bring awareness to it and show people this is what it actually is, and that there's so many people struggling with it we don't even know. There's so many people that can live with it, you know, even with the symptoms, and like go without checking it out. It's crazy. But yeah, so for anyone going through it, these are a few tips and things that have helped me get through it, and you know, while I'm still going through it. Stay strong and push yourself as much as possible. When I say that, you need to remember that you are going through an abnormal experience. It's a life-changing, life-altering experience, and it is very difficult. Nobody can downplay how difficult it is. But also we don't compare pain, so we aren't saying that it's more difficult than anything, or you know. But yeah, stay strong and push yourself as much as possible, meaning that don't fall into that hole and that trap. Oh, I can't do anything and whatever. Really, like, yes, we have those days. Yes, it's bad. Yes, sometimes it can last a very long time, but do the bare minimum. Do whatever you can. Walk around in the lounge. Try and stretch your arms, stretch your legs. Try and wash the dishes. Clean the house if you can. I did that not so long ago. Actually, in this week, I cleaned the house and I cooked a meal. Yeah. So do as much as you possibly can. Also rest as much as you possibly can. So push yourself to do whatever you can when you can, and rest. It's very important. Your body needs the sleep, it needs the rest, it needs the energy to be able to, you know, fight. Get your head right. That is what I think a lot of people struggle with, because in this day and age it's so hard to be out of touch. It's so hard to be dealing with something when all your friends and everyone around you is doing like a certain thing and you can't do that. It's difficult because, you know, you kind of just get you feel stuck. But get your head right. Do things that make you happy. Like paint if you can paint. Find, like, I bought a paint by number canvas thing from Mr. Price, which is really helping me. Read, work, post pictures of yourself, take selfies, go on TikTok, do funny TikTok videos. Get your head right and meditate if you can. If you can do yoga and exercise and stuff like that, then go ahead and do that. I try and do whatever I can physically. Don't allow it to consume you. A lot of people think that it's easy to go through something like this and be normal. It's not easy. It's not. It takes work. It takes daily work. Every day putting one foot in front of the other. My cousin said to me not long ago, if you can't take it one day at a time, just take it 1 hour at a time. If you have to take it 1 minute at a time, just do that. Whatever's going to work for you, that's what you need to do at the end of the day. So yeah, definitely don't allow it to consume you. Work every day. Find things to look forward to. Find things that make you happy, to make the journey a little less stressful and a little more easy, just to be able to kind of grasp everything and understand what you're going through. I'm going to leave this one for the end. Talk to people. Do that. Be vocal if you feel comfortable, like I am. I just personally feel like there isn't a lot of these about Hodgkins lymphoma, and it's like, we need to spread awareness, especially here in South Africa. We need to be able to kind of share our experiences so that people know. I would have loved to have seen things like this before I went into everything, so that I knew what I was getting myself into. Keep yourself busy, but get enough rest. Eat in moderation. Don't be a gimba. Don't go eat everything like me. Because I suffered from that. I had some stomach issues because of that. So yeah, just eat in moderation. My doctor just told me, eat whatever you want, just eat in moderation. There's just certain things that you need to avoid. So raw fish, sushi, you can't eat that. I miss sushi. I crave sushi so bad. But next year, spicy food, do your best to kind of stay away from it. But if you're a spicy food person like me, just take it easy. Embrace your journey. Yeah, it's very important. Embrace it. You are not ugly. You are not less worthy. You are not any of those things. You are you, and this is your journey, and it's your story, and your book is beautiful. Your story is beautiful, regardless of what anyone else is. There's nothing to do with anyone else. Yeah, so the last one that I wanted to say is face the tough shit. This is a video that I want to do at a later stage, going into more detail about this. But sit with yourself sometimes. When you're in a good mind frame, sit with yourself and face things. If you're scared of things, face them. Sit and face it. Deal with it, because it's going to make you feel better. It will make you feel better. You need to confront your fears, your emotional and psychological fears, especially in terms of this. If you are fearful of death and you are fearful of, recurrence or remission or all of that stuff, you need to face it. You need to sit down with yourself and you need to face it. It's difficult. It's very difficult. It makes you break in that moment. You break completely. But it's a good thing, because you break and then you fix yourself. And you fix yourself even better than before. You are better, stronger, less fearful, more courageous, more brave. And that's very important. It's extremely important, but I'll talk about that more in another video. And then for anyone whose family is going through cancer, I don't know, as I said, all the symptoms of other cancers and stuff like that and how it differs. But for me, these are things that have helped me and that my family have done, which I am so grateful for. Massages. People don't understand how much this works, because we can take as many painkillers as we possibly want to. The bone pain and the joint and muscle pain that comes from chemo and the booster injections, it's unfathomable. It's terrible, really. But massages really help. It really, really helps us. So if you have a family member going through it, remember that massages really help for the pain. It's not even a joke. It's probably the best thing for the pain. Yeah, food. Eat comfort food. That's what I'm doing. Like, that's my motto. Cupcakes, everything I lust for, I just eat it, because why not? Support. Obviously, they need to support you. They need to be there for you. To anyone who is going through something like this that doesn't have a support structure, please, I am here. If you want to speak, if you want to talk, if I'm close by, if I can help, I will. Literally, because I hate thinking that people who are going through this don't have anyone. People are not as blessed as us, that they don't have people to count on in situations like this, and that's not cool. But I'm here, so please, if I can help, please reach out to me. I'm willing to talk and be there for you as much as possible. Push them. This is very important. Do not allow them to fall into a trap. Do not. Remember, you know your family, so you know when someone's making an excuse and when they can't do something versus when they can, but they are making excuses for it and they don't want to do it. Push them, encourage them to get up and do it. Encourage them to wash a plate. Encourage them to do the smallest thing. It's difficult, but you don't want to do that. You want to be there for them and give them everything that they want, but they also need a push. Sometimes they need that hard push. I needed it, and my mom and my dad and my sister gave it to me. There's a lot of things about my chemo journey that's different and that's self-inflicted, and I'm dealing with that daily. Yeah, and then the last one is normality. This is very important to me. I don't know how other people are. There are people out there that unfortunately enjoy the pity. But I'm not one of those people. Don't treat me differently because I've got cancer. That's not cool. I'm a very proud person. And I accept help. I do. It's just, if I can help myself, I will. Before I ask anyone for help, I need to know that I am completely unable to help myself. And I don't see any issue with that. But yeah, don't treat people like they are different. They're not different. They just need a little extra help. But don't alienate us. Don't make us feel like we are completely different. And don't look at us like we're dying. Like, don't do that, because that makes it a lot worse for the person. The person can be very positive about it, and your outlook on, like, your reaction to it can change their positivity and their mindset towards it. So please just check yourself, before you, I understand that, it's shocking and it's not something easy to deal with, but at the same time, look at the person, see their reaction, and go based on that. Don't, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Don't do that, guys. It's not nice for the person, because they can be fine mentally and you come in with that, and it just, drives them mad. But yeah, that's those are all the questions that I got. I hope I answered them to the best that to the best of my ability. One thing I wanted to add though is that one of the side effects and symptoms, chemo brain fog type of thing. You forget things, and your focus and concentration are like sometimes very bad. I forget a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so I hope I answered you guys' questions as well as possible, and if you have any more questions, please do not be afraid to ask. I will try and explain to the best of my ability. And yeah, for anyone going through it and having to deal with this, I am praying for you, and we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be good. It's amazing. It's amazing how strong people are. It's amazing that you don't know your strength, and like your full strength, until it's tested like this. And one thing I just want to say is thank you to every single person that has helped me, reached out to me, been kind to me. All the support and the love, and you guys don't understand what that means. It might just be a message to you, but that message can brighten up someone's day like you don't even understand. And don't be scared to reach out. Don't. Literally, we feel so good about it. Well, I do. You know, it's good to know that there's kind people in the world that care. So yes, thank you to everyone that has reached out and been supportive. And thank you to everyone that has been there for me in every other way. I really and truly appreciate it. Everything is going really well, and I'm very excited, and I cannot wait for next year. But I will be doing more videos, and I will be uploading more videos, and I am excited to keep this channel growing. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. The reason you are sharing is so that if someone in your circle that I will not have contact with is going through something, or knows someone who's going through something like this, it will shed some light and help. So please like, subscribe, and share. And I hope you guys have a blessed week and month and year. Stay safe, be good, and yeah, see you next time.